Price with Icon versus Icon.
Hi, Jason.
What's up,
Hey,
Jason?
thanks so much for taking time out to talk to me, guys. Really great film you put together here. So happy to help spread the word.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Cool. Well, I'll just dive in. You both have such unique journeys as actors. When did you fall in love with the craft? And obviously, it's not easy to make a living doing this. What keeps that fire inside of you creatively burning so strong?
Um, I I I came up in the theater. My parents were theater actors, so I would just always I'd go to theater it was play, but I always found it to be selfish, and I always wanted to do something else with my life. And I went and saw Judith Light do the play Wit at the Union Square Theater in 1999. And my mother died of cancer, and I grieved my mother's death for the first time properly in that theater. I don't know what happened. It was like someone touched me. And that was the moment I wanted to be an actor. That was the moment where I was like, there's honor to this. It's not selfish. It's about giving. It's about telling a story to someone else and trying to touch that one person in the audience and make them feel something, you know? And I think that's what drives me.
And Michael?
You know, I became an actor or thought of becoming an actor really in my sort of mid 20s. I never thought about it before in my life. But in hindsight, I remember when I was a kid, about 9, 12 years old, in French school, we saw the biography of Molière, the writer. It was a 1970s film. And I remember he loved his mother, and these doctors, these authority figures, did not diagnose his mother well, and he had this disdain for people in authority that were dishonest. And I remember thinking, I think in another life that was me, where I got to express the pain I felt being separated from my mother into art and putting that and making that pain into something beautiful. I think that's probably the first time that was planted in my subconscious. And from there, I think just transmuting pain and struggle into beauty, into art, and hopefully uplifting another kid or boy or girl or adult that is going through something through art.
Very cool. Well, you both built incredible resumes. So, what do you look for in the material you're taking on now? And that speaks to this new movie. What drew you to Ivory King?
Um, Thank you, man. First of all, great cast. I'm a fan of actors. Uh, James Badge Dale, looking at him right now, what a stud in and on and off camera. But keep going, muscles, mustache, blue steel
Buckles
eyes. There
mustache.
you
That's
go.
it. Thank you.
Ben Foster, Melissa Leo, Rory Cochrane, Richie Coster, Will Stone, our DP, George Carroll, and of course John Swab, that I got to know on our first meeting when the offer came in. Writer director, an actor's writer, an actor's director, extremely collaborative, and more importantly, he was a guy who lived this life. He was an addict himself. So you look for a great team, and you look for people who are collaborative, who are telling stories that, as James said earlier, that they have to say, and ideally stories that create healthy conversation. You get all those elements, and I'm in.
And James?
The John Swab of it all. The John Swab of it all. He's our writer, he's our director. This story meant everything to him. It is the culmination of a lifetime of experiences, of his time also in the film industry. John's a loud director. And I don't mean that in like his personality. He's not loud. He's an extremely calm, kind, generous man. Um, there's an element to his filmmaking that is loud, that is in your face. He can understand action, and he can then kind of go into these other moments and bring you really close to the characters. And what this film is a very visceral, voyeuristic story. All these storylines wrapping into each other, and it's real and it's gritty, and it should feel real and gritty. And If you go see it in the theater, I promise you, it's impactful.
Well, this question again for both of you. Speaking to what John has done here, I know he brought in a lot of non-actors to play some of these roles in the film. What was that experience like for you, and how did that kind of fuel your creativity on set?
That was so much fun, man. I remember one night I saw John. It's so fun, man. We're in the car. This is not a scene that made the film, but just to show you, it's about 2 in the morning, and the camera operator is pointing at my character, and we still don't have actors to play opposite me. And John crosses the street, goes to a 7-Eleven, picks the two hardest dudes sitting there, talks to them and brings them over. Within 5 minutes, they're signing waivers. And here I am sharing a scene with these two guys from Tulsa that no one knows where they're from or where they're going. And that was the experience most of the time. The people in that opening scene where I'm having this dialogue with these parents of this young, great actor to get him to go across the border. We were waiting on set for someone to show up, non-actors, the young girl that plays my daughter, non-actors, the guards, the prison. It was a real prison with people really serving time. And when I walked into that court right before the fight scene and they started banging on the windows, that was real. That was all real. They were fans of the work I had done, and they were so excited to be a part of that world now. And you could feel it. It was just so visceral. It was a great experience.
How about you, James?
John Swab, the John Swab of it all. Okay, look. Okay, so all this is going on. Michael's explaining to you how we're working. You
Sure.
you kind of you just show up to work. I'm like, I don't know who's real and who's not, and that's cool, and that's the right way to approach it. You know what I mean? I don't. Let's all be non-actors here, or let's all be actors. We're all in the same boat. But one day we're shooting, and I won't tell you what scene. It was a simple scene. It didn't matter, but basically this dude just walks up to us and he was like, yo man, you're in my fucking territory, excuse my language. And I was like, oh no. And it's just basically me, John, Will, who's operating handheld, and like a skeleton crew, no other actors, and I was like, this is gonna be a problem, and we don't have any security. We're running like this is just us, dude. John talked to this dude in such a manner, disarmed him. I mean, it was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. And this guy felt welcome to come hang out and watch. And I'm like, oh no, John's gonna put him in the movie. Watch this. John's gonna turn around and put him in
Yeah.
put him in the movie, man. He didn't. He was like, we're gonna keep moving here. But John Swab is a man of the people, and I think it's an incredible talent to be able to have people open up to you because of the way you speak to them. And there's a respect there. There's a manner of handling yourself with respect to other people, other human beings, and you know, John's a real one. He doesn't have to try. He doesn't have to try to be this other thing because he's there. It's him.
Gotcha. Well, last question for you guys. This fentanyl epidemic has touched so many lives. I was curious if there were any moments during the filming that really brought that real world weight of the story out in those scenes to you.
It's I think this has been a part of our lives for too long. I mean, it's so hard. It's so difficult to watch what's happening, and as the dangers continue to increase, I'm fearful for us and our families. I hope that we get to continue to tell stories like this because the import of our story is just shining a light on it. We're not coming here with judgment. We're not telling you what to do or what's right or what's wrong. We're telling the story. And that in itself can open up the conversations.
Absolutely. And you, Michael?
I hope people take from this film that we all have humanity, no matter what side you're pointing to. Um, Look at yourself. If there's something you dislike in the world, look at yourself first and ask how can you change that within you. And thirdly, I hope that if you really want to win in any conversation, leave that conversation better understanding the person you're speaking to, as opposed to trying so hard to shove your point across. Really go in saying, I'm going to learn to better understand this person and get a step closer to them. If you do that, you win, as opposed to I'm going to prove them wrong. I hope our film starts a conversation, a complex one, an important one, but hopefully a healthy one.
Absolutely. Well, guys, terrific performances. Thank you so much for your time today. It's really been a pleasure talking to you. You're such an inspiration to me. So keep the good stuff coming, guys. We'll talk soon.
Thank you,
Jason,
Jason.
thank you, man.